The students from the project Erasmus TV International have heard of the Count Dracula and they want to find out as much information as possible about him. The conversation is getting more and more intense.
Dracula exists. For me, it's enough to say Romania and I think of Dracula.
Of course you think of Dracula exists with your imagination. When I say Romania, I think of Simona Halep, Nele Comaneci or Zikaji. Dracula is only in your imagination.
Wrong. Dracula existed. That's why people have spoken about him for ages.
I also think this vampire really lived here, and he may still live. A handy argument is a novel written by the Irish author Bram Stoker.
Right, what an argument. Literature is pure fiction.
Yes, but it inspired from reality.
My dears, I really like your discussions and I must say they amused me a lot. So now, let's divide into two groups, mythologists and historians, and prepare yourself, and tomorrow we'll have a real debate called Following the Dracula's Step.
Welcome. I arrived earlier to get a bibliography. I found out there was a Romanian ruler, Vlad Tepes, who is also called Dracula'S.
This doesn't exclude the vampire's existence, right?
No, on the contrary, it's like another argument that Dracula was real.
It appears that his bloody deeds helped people's imagination. And now we need to reveal the
Don't give up. Let's get to work. We will find out when he lives, his burials, bloody deeds, relationships, anything that can help us to face the mythology and make them silent.
You will read about the sources of inspiration of the novel Dracula by Bram Stoker.
Cool. I watched the movie. I like it a lot. And I always like to imagine how the Count watches the Georges free type the Romania has.
I will look up for legends.
Me too. It will be hard to separate myth from history, but I bet it will be interesting.
I found some very interesting online historian magazines. I will study them tonight. I will be able to convince that farthest historian that Dracula existed.
I was really surprised that you wanted to follow the history and the legends, and now I'm very curious about your conclusions. However, I want your arguments to be short, without expecting to finish the subject.
I'm really curious to see what other lies the vampire lookers have found about the historic truth of a real personality of the 15th century should not be doubted.
Wait, and we'll satisfy your curiosity. And for you to see that we don't doubt scientific truth, we'll give you the chance to present him, since you want to believe in Eurasian supremacy and refuse any dreaming about him.
Okay, we have thought of showing you not pages from history, but to bring you arguments. This is Vlad Tepes, guilty for the appearance of the Dracula's myth.
The researchers believe that the supraname his father had, it comes from the fact that he was a member of the Dragon Order which had as goal to fight against the evil.
Dracula, the vampire, is a fantasy. Vlad Tepes was real. Being a leader in Terra Romanesca in the 15th century. He was married 3 times, had 5 children, so he was not a ghost, a demon or the vampire, but only a human and a leader.
More than that, Stoker's son would have confessed that his father had dreamed his hero and that Dracula has no connection with the Romanian leader.
Well, other historians have even proved that Vlad Tepes didn't even live in the brown castle that is so often visited by tourists.
They don't even know the place he was buried, and his death was by beheading, something usual at that time.
He was a brave leader, fighting for the country independence. He was being considered cruel by the way he treats the enemies. And my dear colleagues, they are just a character.
That is useless effort to wash away a myth which is necessary for the ones who don't want to be stuck in reality and truth, for the souls of those who can afford to doubt the absolute truth, especially when talking about history, and let their imagination free.
You didn't mention that the fact that his name Steps comes from the way he executed by impaling. That proves he loves blood, doesn't it?
On the other hand, there are Turkish chroniclers, the way I found out from Stefan Andreescu's book, who call him Dracula or Tepes even from the 15th century.
The author presents many legends about Dracula, and each speaks about his cruelty in punishing the enemies, unfaithful servants, messengers, or lazy people. In a legend, it is said that he was killed by someone close who mistook him for an enemy, being impaled many times. All this led to Count Dracula, the vampire from the Carpathians.
The Germans also present Vlad Tepes as a negative character in their chronicles.
Beyond the legend, it is true that the historians speak about the personality of the 16th century from the Romanian space, about a leader who defended his country even if he did in a very cruel way.
So I'm forced to stop you here because we have no more time. Your debate, though very interesting, seems endless. Vlad Tepes' life, the one called Dracula, is still a mystery. So I'd like to congratulate all of you. Good job. And I invite you to visit the Bran Castle, either for its history or for the legends. And if until now you have read about Dracula in books only, you will now follow him in the mountains.
Dracula exists! Dracula is only a legend! Still Dracula exists!